Good morning. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this webinar. I'm Colin Mars, editor of Construction News. This webinar is titled Harnessing the Power of Digital Twinning to Improve Construction Productivity, and it's brought to you in partnership with Dassault Systemes. Improving productivity remains the holy grail for UK construction industry. Modular building techniques are one solution to the challenge, allowing a repeatable solution that can be used across a wide range of products, a process known as productization. However, the use of such methods needs to be carefully balanced with the desire of clients to end up with a unique end product. Meanwhile, traditional construction industry processes can be hindered by multiple trades working in silos, which can lead to misunderstandings, project delays, and cost increases. In this session, we will introduce the close collaboration between project stakeholders via common data environment, actual examples of productization, and construction project services provided by Dassault Systemes called outcome-based engagement. We're going to hear short presentations by Arthur Montelet, Industry Sales Strategy Director of Architecture, Engineering and Construction at Dassault, Pedro Diaz-Cosero, who's also in Architecture, Engineering and Construction at Dassault. He's the Industry Solution Experience Manager there. Kurt Komraus, Industry Solution Experience Senior Manager, also in Architecture, Engineering and Construction at Dassault. Then finally, we'll hear from Misha van Hattum, Innovation Manager of Engineering at Dutch cladding supplier Aldova, who will talk about his firm's experience as a Dassault customer. So with no further ado, over to you, Arthur.
All right. Thank you, Colin. Hello, everyone. So let me share my screen so we can go through the presentation. Up. Should be okay. So first question that we receive always at Dassault Systems. Are you plane maker? No, we are not plane maker at Dassault Systems. This is our mother company, Dassault Aviation, that is doing plane. But at Dassault Systems, what we are doing is a digital twin of the plane. Without a digital twin of this plane, the Boeing 777, nothing is possible. So today, we are going to see how the digital twin can harness and boost the construction productivity. I'm Arthur Montier, in charge of the sales and strategy for Dassault Systems and the construction industry. So in this session, we are going to go through the different parts. As Colin mentioned, I will present you a global overview of what we can do at Dassault Systems. And after, we will go through the presentation of Pedro regarding the common data environment, a video of our colleague Kurt regarding productization, and a customer story with Aldova. First thing that I want you to do is take a look around you. Most of the elements that you are seeing, from the table to your computer to your windows to your table, is made with Dassault Systems software. This software is what? SolidWorks. Indeed, more than 50% of all those elements are made with SolidWorks. So for the one who are questioning themselves if Dassault Systems is an actor of the construction, indeed we are. To continue, one thing that I wanted to share with you today, regarding our strategy. And we have based our strategy on the main construction challenges: climate change, low productivity efficiency, and shortage of skilled labor. Let's speak about sustainability for a minute. We all know that the first cause of climate change is the building area. More than 39% of the CO2 emission is coming from the building. What if it was possible to build differently, in a greener way? Thanks to productization strategy that Dassault Systems is putting in place on the market, you will be able to save raw materials and thanks to nesting optimization, reduce time to delivery up to 30% by making all the different stakeholders work on a common data environment to ensure the full traceability of the data. Thanks to the Dassault Systems solution, you will be able as well to optimize your logistic aspect, to calculate the life cycle assessment of your building and the element of your buildings. This is the main topic. After, we all know this curve, low productivity and efficiency in the construction area. We are not blaming the construction. For us, it's a question of technology. The technology wasn't here before. This is why you cannot compare the productivity in manufacturing than the productivity in construction. You cannot compare as well to manufacture a car and to conceive a building. It's two different topics. When we are speaking of a car, it's a standard element made of bespoke components. And if you take a building, it's exactly the opposite. A bespoke element made of standard components, meaning that we need to work on the interface and how we can ensure that the different modules in the building can interact together in a smooth way. Last point, shortage of skilled labor. It's been several years now that I'm part of the industry, and I've been running through a different field, and shortage of skilled labor is always a topic. Let's imagine that you can build a building like an IKEA kit, like an IKEA furniture. The idea of productization and the solution of Dassault Systems is to answer to those three challenges. To answer to those challenges, we have built a dedicated portfolio of solutions from design to renovation with integrated built environment, how to settle the global collaboration regarding all the stakeholders, ensuring the single source of truth at each moment of your project. And as well, we are working on something that is disruptive for us that Kurt will explain, and this is productization. Let me give you two elements to start. The common data environment. When we are speaking about a digital twin, it's not only a 3D model, it's as well all the processes that is going to be put in place in order to conceive the 3D model. So the common data environment gains that you will be able to see with Pedro is a multi-scale management. Maximize the project outcome with much more precision, increase stakeholder coordination, improve productivity, and improve traceability of the information. The idea here is to do this approach at two levels, the enterprise level and at the project level. Second, if we move to productization, and what is productization? It's only the virtualization of the knowledge and the know-how. Here you can see some video of our several customers from KG Construction, Piftobro in France, Jet Contractors. All those players, I've applied those principles that you are going to see in the Kurt session. The overall gain, 30% on the overall productivity, thanks to the virtualization of the know-how and the ability to reuse what has been done on one project into another. 50% on materials pairing. Centralized procurement, reducing the procurement cost. Let's imagine that from your bill of materials, you are able to order the different screw for your buildings. You can make some good improvement regarding your purchasing process here. And of course, pre-assess the CO2 footprint. It was a quick introduction for my part. I will let the floor to Pedro, and he will give you more detail regarding our common data environment. Pedro, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Arthur. Let me take over this screen too. So hello, everyone. Thanks for joining. My name is Pedro Diaz-Cocero, and I am Industry Solution Experience Manager with Dassault Systems at the Architecture, Engineering, and Construction industry team. And today I'm going to walk you through the main aspects of our common data environment, integrated data environment. So according to ISO 19650, which is the most extended standard for collaboration in the AEC ecosystem, there are three main pillars that a common data environment needs to fulfill. Without going into details, the first one is being able to manage stakeholders and the information they can access, meaning that for any piece of information, being able to determine who can see that and define these collaboration groups within the project team. The second pillar is lifecycle revision management and workflows. Basically, what the standard says is that we should be able to track the maturity of information as it evolves throughout the project, and be able to define these approval workflows that allow to validate the information before it transitions between these maturity states. The third pillar, the classification, attributes, and identification, just refers to the metadata of information stored in the system. And it's all about being able to capture these metadata, these additional information on all the objects, and being able to configure it, enrich it, and adapt it to the project needs. So let's have a quick look at how we fulfill these three pillars with our 3D Experience platform. The first pillar, the stakeholder and information access management, we address with a powerful P&O, people and organization framework, where we can create these companies, business units, and departments that will group users. And what this will allow us to do is to segregate the information that each of these stakeholders can access. So for instance, we have a general contractor in our platform, they will be able to see all the information that is stored in there. But if we have subcontractors that don't necessarily need to see the information provided by other subcontractors, we can make sure that they are only able to see the information that is relevant to their company. All this is taken care of by the administrators. So for the end users, there's no hassle. They can just access with their individual credentials, and all the information will be filtered according to their permissions. The second pillar of the common data environment, the lifecycle revision management and workflows, is part of the DNA of our system. We have a powerful lifecycle management system embedded in our solution, where every piece of information that is stored in our system, being documents, drawings, BIM models, you name it, has an associated maturity. So this piece of information will transition across these maturity states, and depending on the maturity state, it will determine who can access that information and whether it will be modifiable or not. In addition to this, we can always track the history of everything that has happened to any given object. So we can always see previous versions of the document, when those versions were created, by whom, and what were the later versions and what's the latest version. And finally, with regards to the workflows, we fully support them in our system. The way it works is we can define these sets of ordered tasks and assign them to specific users or organizations, and we can at all times track in which state the workflow is, and what's the next task, and what was the feedback provided by previous users. The third pillar of the common data environment is these metadata classification attributes, and we manage this in different ways. The first way is by being able to enrich all the metadata of a specific object type. Say that you want to add an attribute to a document or to a drawing or to a site or a BIM. We can do that. But we can also leverage classification. And the way this works is by defining these hierarchical structures where by adding a specific information to a container, it will automatically inherit attributes that are relevant for that part. So and that way you can enrich documents, drawings, or BIM models, anything in a very smooth way. Now let's have a look at this video that explains everything that I just covered quickly and illustrates a bit better how we address that with 3D Experience. So as I was introducing for the first pillar, the stakeholder and information access management, we manage that with specific credentials. So if a general contractor accesses their platform, they will be able to see all the project information. But if a subcontractor accesses the same environment, the same dashboard, the information will be filtered automatically just to show the information that is relevant to them. Of course, same goes for all other types of information. So if we're looking at documents, if you're looking at bookmark structures, the information is automatically filtered to display only the information that is relevant to them. How we achieve that is through this structure of companies, business units, and departments that allow us to organize the people that are accessing the environment and with what permissions. In this way, we can define for any user accessing the environment what kind of permissions they will have and with whom they will be able to collaborate. On the second pillar, lifecycle revision management and workflows, this is the concept of routes that I was introducing, how we can have these sets of ordered tasks where different users will be able to provide feedback on any specific piece of information. And we will be able to track the feedback provided by all the different users and revisit what has been given as feedback in previous steps and take that into consideration for the evaluation of any information. The last bit, the maturity states, as I was mentioning, any information in the system will be able to transition across these maturity states. And depending on the permissions of the user, they will be allowed or not to modify the information. We can always track the versions of all the information and be able to revert to those previous stages and see who performed these changes and at what stage. Finally, regarding the metadata, we have a powerful data model behind our system that can be enriched by adding all these additional attributes to enrich the metadata of objects with predefined values of all different types. In addition to this, we for sure fulfill the naming rules that are required for your project so that we can adapt them to meet project needs. All these will be taken into account when generating new information and will be available for all the users automatically accessing the system. Finally, on the classification, as I was introducing before, we have these hierarchical structures where by adding objects to these containers, they will automatically inherit attributes, being able to define what are the predefined values they should have and providing specific lists so that we can control the metadata of all these objects. Very quickly, just to emphasize two key aspects of our common data environment and why we are different with 3D Experience. While other systems can perform most of the things that I was mentioning before, they still don't guarantee that there's no duplicates of information, and they still rely on these manual exchanges with no context and structured data. So what they have is documents that are stored in files. What we provide is an information management system where documents are objects like projects, the virtual twin of your asset, task, issues, everything is a dedicated object. And what we provide is the possibility for the same document to be connected to the project where it will become a deliverable, to the virtual twin where it enriches the additional information of on top of the BIM attributes and the 3D model of your twin, and it can be connected to a bookmark structure to package it in a form of a work package that can be assigned to specific subcontractor. So documents we can manage, but in context of all this richer information, providing much better traceability and the possibility to guarantee a single source of information for all stakeholders. The second key aspect of our common data environment, integrated field environment, is the way we manage collaboration in projects. So in traditional ecosystems, we have this scattered, disconnected ecosystem where each stakeholder is using their own common data environment or their own information management system, and they will manage exchanges through files and basically distributing the risk. And what we have here is mostly paper-based exchanges, 2D file-based with no information flow. What we provide is a single ecosystem, a single common data environment for all stakeholders where they can connect, always review the latest version of the truth with risks and tasks and information collectively managed and assigned to specific users, guaranteeing traceability. In addition to what I presented, there are more capabilities that we can bring. For sure, multi-scale common data environments is one of the aspects where we can connect BIM plus GIS information. There's a lot more. What we provide is a unified virtual twin where all information, regardless of metadata, related documents, issues, is connected to the virtual twin of the asset. So all information can be revealed for all the stakeholders that have access to it. And what we have is an intelligent model that can be filtered and queried based on all these metadata, all these attributes, to find the information that is relevant for all users. In addition to this, we provide the capability to manage requirements that are related to the project so that at any given time, we can track the information that is required at any given stage of the project. We can convert it into actionable objects that can be assigned to users to guarantee delivery throughout the project. In addition to the requirements management solutions, we provide a full BIM review process where models can be brought into the platform in various ways through standards or through proprietary formats, and we can validate the information provided against predefined rules, so we can check if the models fulfill the requirements of the project. We can run clash analyses to determine whether there are any issues among the models that are provided by the different subcontractors. We can analyze them in depth, and we can automatically trigger validation workflows and issue resolution workflows, leveraging the virtual twin of the asset to provide contextual information. These validation workflows for the issues track all the information that is relevant for the resolution, provide rich context in terms of the parts of the asset that are impacted by the issue, and can be assigned to specific stakeholders for managing the resolution. All the information, again, becomes available through the virtual twin of the asset, which is the centralized place of managing all this information. In addition to the issue management capabilities, we have a full-fledged project management solution embedded in our system, where tasks and risks are connected to the virtual twin. In this way, we can manage holistically all the risks that are related to the project, and we can define who is responsible for mitigating the risks, what will be the mitigation strategy. We can assign specific gates for the resolution, guaranteeing a smooth resolution and tracking of the risks of the project. All these, again, connected to the virtual twin, providing a rich context for all the information that is available in the system. Finally, we have analytics tools that allow us to have a holistic view of multiple projects that are being run in our system, being able to define all the tasks that are late, all the documents that are due, all the where the bottlenecks are. And in the end, what we provide is this full traceability, leveraging the virtual twin as the placeholder of all the risks, tasks, requirements, documents, drawing, everything, providing this holistic, unified, common data environment for all the stakeholders. That was me. So thank you for your attention. And now I'm handing over to Kurt, who will tell us more about productization. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Kurt Komros. I am the Industry Solution Experience Senior Manager for the Architecture, Engineering, and Construction industry here at Dassault Systemes. I have over 20 years experience in the AEC industry, from architectural design to digital process development to automated structural and facade engineering to construction administration. You know, stuff like this. Anyway, I'm here to talk about productization. So what is this productization that I speak of? And how can you get some? So, productization is a different approach that unlocks new levels of value and scalability for contractors and developers. At the core of this strategy are virtual construction bricks, digital templates which encapsulate construction know-how in multi-trade assemblies with standardized interfaces and generative variants. These bricks are modules that we organize into product lines, which can achieve a wide range of objectives of stakeholders, such as owners and general contractors. The primary concept, however, is that these bricks are managed independently of projects, an upstream investment in downstream construction serenity. Basically, what this means is treating building design like consumer product design. We do this upstream from the turmoil of a normal architectural design cycle, meaning we design, engineer, simulate, document, and validate multi-trade elements or systems that can be templated to be efficiently incorporated into a variety of building contexts in a contractor's pipeline. One of the key benefits of productization is sustainability. True innovation in carbon reduction requires thoughtful study and engineering outside of the project delivery cycle. Now, very important to the concept of productization is modularity. And this can, but does not have to be volumetric modular, but modularity as in modular product design, meaning custom components with standard interfaces that can be incorporated into the bigger assembly, interchangeably and produced by an organized supply chain. Next, these virtual construction bricks are produced by you, the experts in construction. You become virtual makers, adding your value in the development of true virtual construction twins, which are hosted by the prime integrator. So, imagine being able to detail a building enclosure design for 200,000 square feet of curtain wall in just 10 clicks, or have the ability to move 10,000 structural embeds in minutes, because the slab edge detail changed again. There are no limits to the amount of construction know-how that we can bundle. Now, it does take time, a cultural shift, and requires diligent refinement to develop these bricks such that they can be used across many projects. And ultimately, the global construction ecosystem will have a proper digital marketplace where virtual makers can efficiently connect with prime integrators and other stakeholders for an accelerated construction twin. Okay, so how do we help with all of this? Our solution for productization is a business, design, engineering, and lifecycle management enabler called From Experience to Construction. From Experience to Construction is broken down into 5 parts, what we call industry process experiences. Number 1, building system architecture. This is model-based system engineering for product definition. Number 2, virtual construction experience portfolio management for product data management, product development, and governance. Number 3, virtual construction experience modeling for brick authoring in CATIA or SolidWorks, or consolidate data from other sources. Number 4, virtual construction experience process engineering for process simulation and work instructions. Number 5, virtual construction project composition for integration of bricks in the virtual construction twin. So, to wrap this up, productization is powered by our vast capabilities to automate the complexities of construction design, and it is our unique ability to capture this much design intent that puts us in a whole different universe from our competitors. Our tools are no longer just for the geometrically complex projects, because all construction projects are complex, and our tools and our methods have been proven around the world to provide value far beyond the investment. Thank you for taking valuable time out of your busy day to listen to us about harnessing the power of digital twinning to boost construction productivity. So, get on the bus. You can do it. Deliver more with productization.
So in a second, we're going to hear from Misha van Hattem, Innovation Manager at Engineering for Engineering at Dutch cladding supplier Aldover, who's going to talk about his firm's experience as a Dassault customer. But quickly, I should just say that after this speaker, we'll have a Q&A session. So if you've got any burning questions you'd like to ask our speakers about anything they've said, then please type them into the Q&A tab that you can see at the bottom of this webinar window, and we'll go through as many as we can at the end of the session. For now, I'll hand over to you, Misha.
Okay, thank you, Colin. And let me share my, no, wrong one. This should be it. Yeah, here we are. So, welcome to my presentation. My name is Misha van Hattem. I will be sharing our experience using 3D Experience at Aldoa. So first, let me introduce who we are, then showing some projects that we have done with Dassault Systems software and leading us onto the 3D Experience platform, after which I will be presenting a case study project on which we collaborated with a team of experts from Dassault Systems, finishing with some photos from the execution. So, Aldoa, who are we? We're a full service facade builder for metal and composite cladding, meaning we do everything from, we take on entire projects from design to engineering, manufacturing, and finally installation as well. So first design, we take the idea of the architect and we use that and try to transform that into something that can actually be built, ideally in close collaboration with all other stakeholders. Then we take that idea and we model that, and we take it, we turn it into something that is engineered well and ready to be manufactured. We do all the manufacturing in our own factory, and after this we install everything on site, trying to tackle all challenges that we might face there. So our projects. So we have been using Dassault Systems software for a long time, and with great satisfaction. But over time, we felt we had some challenges. For example, logistics, making sure that every piece of the puzzle arrives at the right place at the right time. We need to be able to create panels in different shapes and curves with lots of variation, using parametric design to create facades of with a high degree of repetition, whether it's internationally or in the Netherlands. We need software that can support us to create these kind of projects. And with a high degree of automation, we felt that we have been doing a lot of manual work in the past, things that we know can be done by the computer, and why should you do it yourself, man? So we use this in the past for our projects, and we will be continuing to use that in our future projects. So all of this posed us with certain challenges, and these challenges made us choose the 3D Experience platform. Let me show you why. So we have been using SolidWorks with great satisfaction over the years. It allowed us to engineer most of the projects that you just saw. With us being a sheet metal manufacturer, it allows us to model all our components, unfold them, add all the information to it, and share this with both our clients and also with manufacturing. We did feel, however, that we needed to add something on top of that, a degree of automation, some scripting, and later on other functionality as well. So the great thing is that both SolidWorks and CATIA run on the same 3D Experience platform, making the transition more smoothly for us. On top of that, all the capabilities that you saw in the previous presentations, to be able to simulate, to collaborate, and to optimize all your company processes and project processes. So we have been using this software on several projects now, and I would like to show you how we have been using it on one of our projects, the Saint-Denis station in Paris. It's a design by Japanese architect Kengo Kuma, and it will be serving almost 250,000 passengers each day, connecting different parts of the city of Paris. And within that station, although I will be designing, engineering, manufacturing, and installing stainless steel and enamel panels on 7 levels. So the challenges within this project mean that includes a fixed deadline. They will not move the 2024 Olympics, which this project will be serving. Over 2,000 square meters of panels, with 6,000 panels in total, of which almost a third will be unique, with different materials, many exceptions, and a structure that can vary in depth between 7 and 70 centimeters. So all these challenges made us turn to Dassault Systems to see what kind of services they could provide to help our team automate the repetitive tasks. So our team has been doing facade projects for many years, but we needed a degree of automation to eliminate manual tasks as much as possible. So we got in contact with Dassault Systems cloud outcome-based engagement team. Now this team, the team we got in contact with was based in Canada. The CATIA hub there helped us with us being in the Netherlands. well, this far distance may have seen a problem, but I will show to you later on why this all worked out well for us. So the tool that was designed for us included a lot of automation, scripting in different languages. CATIA has its own language, EKL, and on top of that, other languages like VBA or Python can be used. And in this project, a lot of visual scripting in an app called XGenerative Design has been used as well. Now, the tool that was designed for us has allowed us to select a wall, and automatically the tool will calculate the depth to the concrete structure behind it, following by the creation and automatic placement of all the components that will be needed. So whether it's brackets, rails, anything will automatically be created, independent of the depth that will be that there is behind there. So as you can see, there are different types of structure, and the tool will place all this automatically independent of the depth. Now, at the same time, within this project, we have many shapes, and the tool recognizes and processes all these shapes. So it's not just standard projects. It's not at all standard product. And at the same time, the tool allows us to evolve over time with solid geometry at the start of the project, and over time adding more information to it. So first the structure itself, then adding a higher level of detail within the end, all the individual components being stored in the PLM database, including all the IFC the BIM attributes that are needed within this project. This way, we created a virtual twin of the entire project, which includes all the panels, all the components, all the structure, and with that, all the shop drawings have been created automatically, and for both production and installation. Now, the way we worked on this project was fully in the cloud. So all the files were stored in the cloud, and this allowed us to all work on the same model at the same time, whether we were based in the Netherlands or in Canada. Now, the way we communicated was different from what you would expect normally. So we didn't use or hardly used any emails, but almost all the communication was done within the 3D Experience If We Loop community. And this allowed us to keep track of all the issues, all the questions that we had, and they could be answered instantaneously. At the same time, we were able to document all the processes within the community's wiki pages for all users to be reviewed and look back. So now all of this resulted in a situation where now we have delivered a prototype, and we have currently started manufacturing the thousands and thousands of components that we will be needing on this project. On-site installation has started as well, and this will be this will be continuing until 2024, when the station will be opened to serve all these passengers. Now, that was the end of my presentation. Now back to you, Colin. Thank you.
Thanks, Misha. That's great stuff. Thanks again. So now we can move on to the question and answer session. So I've got one here from one of the members of the audience. Not surprisingly, perhaps, as we are very much focused at Construction News on contractors. there's a question about contracts. So the question is, how does Dassault support the contract formation process to ensure that the requirements or benefits of digital twins are fully implemented? I don't know who wants to take that one.
I'll take that one, Colin. And thank you for the question, by the way. So the way that works is we have a dedicated module for requirements management. And what it allows us to do is say that requirements are exchanged through a document. We can capture automatically requirements from this document in whichever form it is. And we can convert the specific sections, paragraphs, different entities in the document into requirements as an object, as an actionable object in our system. And then it becomes an entity that will have its own life cycle and that will have its own owner, that can be a person or an organization. And that will allow us to track it individually and make sure that it's fulfilled. And the way it will happen is by being able to link this specific requirement to any other object in our system. So if it's a requirement that describes the behavior of a specific part of the asset, we can link that requirement to the part of the asset that will be impacted. And what this allows us to do is then be able to do a full traceability analysis where we can guarantee the compliance of all the requirements against the project delivery. So that way we have this holistic view. And of course, we have different ways to manage the ownership of the requirements, organize them in chapters of chapters. So yeah, a fully comprehensive solution for managing these type of scenarios for guaranteeing requirements compliance.
Fantastic. That's really useful. Just so everybody knows, we're still accepting questions. We've got a list here to go through, but I should also let you know that if you want to find out more from any of the people who are speaking today, you can see their contact details on the screen, and they'll also be available for face-to-face chats at the events below, including the Construction News meetup, which is happening on the July the 13th. Okay, so next question. Oops, one's just come in. It's from somebody who's saying that they've done a master's dissertation on digital twins, which is encouraging for the industry. Very similar to what's been presented in the section. How can a graduate enter into the field, and does Dassault have any schemes where graduates can get involved?
I'll take that question myself.
Okay.
Yes, because basically I joined Dassault Systems as a graduate myself. That was 7 years ago. And there are definitely opportunities for graduates, and Dassault Systems invest in the careers of all the employees. I would say the best place to go to is the careers.3ds.com website. It's a website that is dedicated to basically all the open positions that we have worldwide. So in that place, you will be able to find all the opportunities and what maturity is expected, or what kind of background is required, and also in which location. And there you will find all that information. So for sure, there are opportunities for interns, graduates of all kinds. And specifically in the UK, I know that there's a recurrent graduate program as well. So definitely, I do encourage you to check out the careers website on 3ds.com.
Fantastic. Thank you for that. Again, Pedro. Okay, another question that's been submitted is, I think it's referring to Kurt's video. It says in the productization video, he mentioned a cultural shift. So I think some of us might know what that's alluding to, but I just wonder if you could expand a bit on what you mean by that.
Take it, Bill?
Yeah, it's fine. I'll take this one too. I'm on fire. So I would say that when we talk about this cultural shift, it means that prioritization doesn't come as given. It requires an investment. It requires an investment from the organization as a whole. So it's not just an individual initiative. It needs a sponsorship from the C-level. And it requires an investment because it means a shift in the way you run the design of your assets. You need to invest in seeing what can be standardized, in developing best practices, in developing standard components, what we call these virtual construction bricks. But it's an investment that will have a return later on, because you will be looking at potentially saving millions of pounds, dollars, euros, whatever. So that's what we refer to this cultural shift. It requires, instead of like jumping straight away into a project, being able to predict what can be automated upfront, invest in that automation, and then yield the return of investment.
Exactly. Thank you, Pedro. I can add one more thing. Of it, the idea here is to do what we call the off cycle, not the off site, but the off cycle. So you have to elevate yourself from the project, to take one step back, and to say, okay, how I've made this building, and after, thanks to the productization, you can say, okay, I will virtualize the knowledge and know of a service riser, for example, and you will be able to reuse it into different projects. This is where the shift is, to create really an off-cycle team, and this team will capitalize from one project to another. And thanks to our technology and the artificial intelligence, it will recognize more and more projects and automatize all the deliverables, as the BOM, the assembly kit, and so on.
Fantastic, excellent. Okay, we'll move on to the next question, which is good in that this person's saying that they've heard of Dassault Systemes already, but they also say that they've heard that it can be difficult. I presume they mean kind of quite complex to use, but I just wonder if you can kind of give some advice on people who might feel that way, on the best way to get started with the product.
I can take this one if you want, Pedro.
Sure,
yes, so this it's been now, as Pedro, 7 years within Dassault. It has always been a question to me, or an interrogation. Your solutions are complex. Of course, our solutions are complex, as I introduced into my introduction. Our software are used to design a plane. The complexity of the software may be seen as we are doing several things, from design, simulation, to data management, or to optimize the flow on your shop floor, for examples. But when you have mastered it, the idea behind is that you have a living virtual twin, a living digital twin. It's not something that, okay, I've produced it, here is your 3D model. A 3D model, we have the belief within Dassault that it is something that has to live regarding the different phases of the project. And as Misha mentioned during his presentation, we know that our solution is not the main tool used on the market. I would say this is why we have a team dedicated to ease the use of our software for you, meaning that this is how the outcome-based engagement team has done with Misha. They will work with you on a project and develop what we call the template. The template for you, it will be the 3D model will allow you to automatize your design. This team is dedicated to you to conceive those templates, and thanks to this team, you will be able to play with the template, see a faster ROI, and after we can work with you on which path we need to work on in order to enable your team.
Fantastic, thank you. The questions are flowing in now. I've got another one here, which is saying, since most projects are singular or one-off projects, what sort of commercial models are available to contractors? Is it flexible for us? I don't know whether that is kind of asking whether you're kind of tied in for a long time, or whether you can just take it off the shelf for a specific project and then put it back again.
Do you want me to take this one, Arthur?
As you wish.
So I think that there are two ways to read this question. One is from the standpoint of the common data environment. And in that regard, we do have a dedicated offering that we can put in place, which is the project-centric approach, where we have a specific bundle that tackles all the collaboration use cases, the 3 main collaboration use cases, so information management, design reviews, and project planning. And with this bundle, we tackle specifically individual projects where you have multiple stakeholders, typically the case of contractors and your subcontractors. And we can provide this bundle to put in place a dedicated environment for that project. So that's with regards to the common data environment angle. And if we look at the productization angle, if we're the question on how we can leverage productization for one-off projects, the thing is, even if it's one-off projects, you can still digitize certain parts of your knowledge and know-how that can be reused across bespoke projects. So modularization and productization can happen at bathroom pod level, for instance, but it can be at a service racer level, as Arthur was mentioning before, because that might be something that is repeated across your project. So the level of modularization and productization can happen even across these individual projects for general contractors. And one of our biggest customers in that realm is We Construction, where even if they are a general contractor working across very different projects, they are still using productization to improve productivity across all these different projects.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, I think we've got time for just one more here. I'm going to maybe try and combine a couple of the questions here. It's asking about different uses in terms of not necessarily just new build projects. As one, Malcolm Marr is asking, saying the UK's got a lot of older buildings that are of historical interest or people that are attached to them, and that he lives in Glasgow, where there are buildings more than 100 years old that are very prevalent in the city. Can you use 3D modeling on refurbishment projects? And then there's another question from Lance Taylor that's just asking about using it in quarrying in the aggregates sector. So I'm just wondering about whether this is just something for new build schemes.
Right, I can take that one if that's fine. So virtual twinning can be applied to any kind of scenario, it being geological modeling for the case of the question from Lance that I was also seeing in the chat. So for sure, we have dedicated tools for capturing terrain information, geological modeling, mining planning for extracting raw materials. And we can definitely capture the existing conditions of any terrain or any site. And for sure, same applies for capturing the existing conditions of an existing building. We can work with point clouds, for instance, to ingest the assays of the building and then use that as input to plan the refurbishment activities. So that can be part of the input that we aggregate into the virtual twin to build on top whatever activities are needed for planning the refurbishment steps. So yes, both virtual twinning can help in many different scenarios, and we support them with real experience.
Great stuff. Okay, well, look, we've wrapped it up just within the hour. So thank you to all our speakers today. It was a fascinating tour through Dassault Systems and its products. Thanks for all our attendees listening in as well, and for all the questions, which shows, I think, that there was a good degree of engagement there. I'll just repeat, if you want to follow up on anything else with the participants in the webinar, the details are currently on the screen. But I think at that we can wrap it up. So again, thanks for everybody today, and we'll see each other again.
Definitely. Thank you all, and
Thanks.
see you May 17 and 18. Cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers.